Hi, everyone. So, I thought it might be a good idea to talk about your background a little bit. I think even for people who played the game a lot, they don't pay a lot of attention to this. And especially if you're starting out, you're probably going to blow right by your background. You're probably going to go like, oh, I'm a thief. I should be a criminal or an urchin. Um, but they're important for other reasons. And they're reasons that can be easily overlooked. Like, for instance, here, I'm starting out with the basic character, your starting character, which is an elf barbarian. And if you look down here, the default background is acolyte. And that means you get a +2 on your insight checks and a +3 on your religion checks. That's okay, but you should take a look at your abilities. And those you can see here, your skill proficiencies. So look here, and you'll see that you have a +2 in athletics, etc., etc. This is all fine, and your intimidation is +4. That's good. You might not want to change any of these. That's perfectly fine. But you will find if you look at other characters, you might want to tinker with these a bit. These last four here, persuasion, performance, intimidation, deception, all are extremely useful in dialogue throughout the game. So if you're just starting out, those are having pluses in those is very good. So that'll help you get through the game a little bit easier without having to fight everybody. And these do not change based upon your race. I will show you that. These are all basically the same. The easiest way for me to show you that is this. Is this +2 for insight, +3 for religion. Now if I go change my race again and look back down here, still +3 in religion, still +2 for insight. These do change based on your class. So if you want to cruise through the game, I highly recommend Bard. I mean, if you want to just cruise through the game's dialogues and etc., and I will show you why in just a moment. Again, just showing you the insight and religion checks are still the same here for Bard, but look at all the other abilities that Bard has. +5 in persuasion, +5 in performance, +5 in intimidation and deception. Bard, and you've got all of these possibilities of changing things with Bard. That no other class has this kind of ability to move your skills around. Like for instance, the Bard may not need deception so much, so maybe we put some points where they're lacking in athletics. And another piece of advice here: don't be afraid to move these around. I think that Bard is the only class that gives you all these kind of options. We will take a look at that, and right here, so you can see the kind of difference. Yeah, and I know this is a lot, but it's important because it makes a difference in how your gameplay goes. So see, you can see here, you don't have as many options to play around with how points are distributed here with the Paladin, for instance. You've got persuasion and intimidation, which are both pretty good. I would probably keep those the same, and you don't actually have much ability to move this one around, which is a +2. But I would keep that in athletics. Athletics are important for pushing. Also, acrobatics, just so you know, is very important because it keeps you from slipping on surfaces. There's lots of oil in the game, lots of grease, lots of icy surfaces, lots of things that you can slip on. So if your acrobatics is high, then that'll prevent you from slipping on those surfaces. So it's worth putting some extra points in there. In this case, with the paladin, I only have an option of moving like 1 up here to acrobatics. My advice is don't be afraid to toy with these, but I like having a high persuasion in the game, or a high intimidation or deception. Having one of those pretty high is good, and will probably get you through most of the game. And that's because a lot of the game depends upon dialogue options. If you just want to slash and beat things down, then you don't have to worry about these too much. But anyway, that's the idea there. Let me also show you the entertainer, because entertainer is the only one that'll boost up your acrobatics. Again, that's important. Don't be afraid to go to abilities and change things. Your acrobatics are important to keep you from slipping on surfaces, keeps your balances, lets you land on your feet, etc. So there are instances where you will jump and there's a chance that you'll end up prone, flat on your butt, in other words, when you jump. Usually that's when you jump down to something. So if you have a high acrobatics, you will more often than not land on your feet. And also you won't slip on icy surfaces, etc. But entertainer is the only background that makes a change to your acrobatics. So if you were, let's say, and I know this is going on a little bit, but it's worth knowing. Let's say you're a fighter, which does not have particularly high acrobatics. I will show you that. I take that back. I do. Okay, so what else? Maybe a wizard. Oops, here we go. This wizard has a high acrobatics too. Everybody's proving me wrong. Okay. Oh, that's because my background is entertainer. So let's go back here. Usually wizard, you might say, well, I want to make them noble or a sage. Those are kind of more in tune with a wizard. But then if you come over here to abilities and come here, you got a +2 on acrobatics, and yeah, that's not great. What I would do is take 1 out of survival, put it up here in acrobatics. Now we got a +4 up there. We're less likely to fall on our butts. Athletics, not so important, but nice to have. It's not very important for wizards and sorps, I don't think. So that's mostly what I wanted to go over here. I want to just kind of show you that your background does matter. It matters to what skills you get, but be sure to not just rely on these 2 skills that it's saying it's giving you boost in. Be sure to go into your abilities and go in here to change your skill proficiencies, and then you can move them around. You can play with these a little bit. You're limited by what class you're playing, but like I said, if you play Bard, basically you can change whatever skill you want. So that's it. I just wanted to give you some background on this. Just wanted to encourage you not to just pick any old background that seems appropriate to your class, because that affects these skills. And sometimes the skills you get aren't necessarily, like if you went noble, history, and persuasion, that's okay for wizards, but if you go in here, it might be better to fool things around, like your Arcana is only +2 here. So I would actually, in this case, I would actually move that up there, because Arcana makes more sense to me for a wizard. So what I'm saying basically is, don't do this. Don't just pick a background, go into your abilities, pick your background, of course, then go into your abilities and change your skill proficiencies. Change what you can. And for gameplay, I recommend having at least one of these pretty high, because when you're talking with the NPCs, a lot of the game relies upon what you have in here. These are +2 is probably pretty good for most things. +4 it can be extremely good to get you past some really complicated situations. So remember that. Acrobatics is to keep you standing, in the sense of slippery surfaces like ice, etc. Athletics for pushing things away and staying prone when you jump down from a height. And the rest of these, pretty straightforward, I think. Perception, medicine, etc., etc. These will all come into play in the course of the game. Animal handling, I think, unfortunately, if I was to make a criticism of the game, I think that's actually pretty worthless. If you really want animal handling, there's scrolls that you can get. Druids would have it out automatically, kind of thing. But if you talk to animals, that'll get you that'll get you through all the animal encounters you have. Animal handling just gives you a little bit of a boost, but it's not valuable. I think they kind of went wrong a little bit with that. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Thanks very much for joining me. I went on a little bit yammer. And don't forget to do this. Go to your skills proficiencies and change them here. Don't rely upon your background. Anyway, that's it. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next videos. Subscribe if you like. Thank you very much. Bye.